National Football League Trailblazer Collette V. Smith, named the first African-American female assistant coach of the New York Jets, wanted to spread her love of the game to young women everywhere, seeing a lack of and denial of female representation and opportunity. Collette founded Believe in You Incorporated, combining her skills as an award-winning mentor and her sports prowess to get young women into the end zone of their athletic potential. Now let's see how Collette is calling the plays, not only on the field, but for our youth.
Positivity, professionalism, purpose. The clear eyes and full heart of Collette V. Smith can't lose.
My name is Collette V. Smith. That's C-O-L-L-E-T-T-E. V as in victory.
The first Black female coach in National Football League history, the saga of this amazing philanthropist and athlete is the story of a true champion.
My younger years were quite interesting because I was a little girl that wanted to play football in the street with the boys. But I was also the little girl that wanted to dance. So no one's gonna put me in a box. So playing football in the streets with the boys was a lot of fun, especially when you beat them, because initially they didn't want you to play. When I was growing up, there were no Pop Warner children's football teams that girls were allowed to play in. So today there might be one or two girls. When I say girls, I mean little girls between the ages of 6 and 13 that can play organized football. But when I was growing up, there wasn't. Once I got into high school, no football team I could play on, and then went away to college. You know, I went away to an HBCU. I'm a Tuskegee University girl. T-U, you know? And so that was exciting. There was no more football in my life. It wasn't until the age of 42 that I was on my computer and I happened by chance to come across a website that I wasn't looking for. Why would I look for a women's professional full tackle football team? It didn't exist, but it did. And so I'm looking at this website and it had last team tryouts of the season, where this was that coming Saturday. This was a Tuesday. And I was actually smoking a cigarette and I was drinking a beer. I finished smoking that cigarette, finished that beer, because we're not gonna waste it, but I went out to tryouts that Saturday. And at the very least, to go experience women playing professional full tackle football. It was mind-blowing to me. It was, I think, when I saw those 45 to 50 women playing football with coaches yelling at them, whistles blowing, and shoulder pads hitting each other, and it was so invigorating to me. I didn't think I was gonna make the team initially, and I made that team. I became someone that I never let out. So this strong Collette came out, and she introduced herself to me, and we're best friends to this day. I wanted to be a running back. That was my favorite position. Franco Harris, Emerson Boozer, Curtis Martin, until the first play happened when I was holding the ball and you get hit. And I was like, I think I'm gonna change my mind about wanting to be a running back, right? So I quickly changed gears. I became a scholar of the game. I became a student of the game. So now you pick up gestures. So I would watch the other team. We call it watching film. So when I retired from playing professional football, I had double knee surgery, but I wasn't done with the game. And when I told the owner of the team that I was gonna retire, she said, you know, we don't wanna lose you. She goes, well, we don't wanna lose you around, period. She goes, I've been thinking about you coaching. I want you to coach your position. So I started coaching my women's pro football team. It was a hard role to fit into for me mentally, but I worked it out. I worked it out, and then eventually the team owner had asked me to do the marketing, PR, promotions, and events, which I take very seriously. I got in the car and started making my phone calls to different news channels and stations and networks and creating press releases. And I started doing that. I happened to grow up a Jets fan. So the team I was calling were the Jets. And so I would make my way to their website, looking up the people that I needed to speak to. What happened was me getting on-field access. But when I thought about it, I said, you know what, me getting on-field access to a Jets practice will teach me to be a better coach for my women football players when I go back. I thought my mind was gonna be blown when I got on the field. To see like an NFL team practicing right in front of me. And I was like, his T-step is not good, or he needs to come out that break faster, or he needs, so then I just kind of started coaching the guys unofficially, little by little. And I just enjoyed myself. That time there was Coach Bowles, Coach Todd Bowles, the then head coach of the New York Jets. The most amazing person you ever want to meet. Smart as a whip, pleasant, love him to pieces to this very day. He said that I should work for this organization. And I said, I agree. I was like, I agree. You're right. And so he told me to bring a resume. And so I went back, I texted him and I said, hey, I'm available to come back to practice this day. And he said, sure, you're welcome to come back. And then eventually I got that phone call. I got that phone call from, oh man, I got that phone call from the head coach in the NFL. And I remember what I was wearing, where I was standing. I remember the weather that day when he called and said, what are you doing this summer? And I said, whatever the New York Jets need. And he said, great, because I'd love it if you were one of my coaches. Yeah, that was in early May. And I'll never forget that day. Yeah.
Now, if you know a sister walking a walk in your community that truly deserves to be recognized, acknowledged, and valued, nominate them at mentoringqueens.com/future queens.
We'll be right back with more Mentoring Queens. Welcome back to Mentoring Queens. Here's more from Collette V. Smith. Like Jackie Robinson and Bill Russell before her, Collette V. Smith continued the legacy of African-American sports heroes breaking barriers. Unlike those figures, she faced the additional challenge of being a woman in a man's game.
Being a first is a lot of work to a degree, but for me, it is just about being prepared. It's all about preparation. Knowledge creates confidence. So I got tremendous respect within my team with the New York Jets. Overall, it was an amazing experience. Quite honestly, it wasn't different than anything I've ever gone through. I'm usually the only woman in corporate America. Most women in high-powered positions in corporate America are the only women in the room. This was the only difference about me being there was that we were holding a football as opposed to a laptop. That was it. But women are used to being the only one in the room.
Realizing the odds for victory were too often not in the favor of women led Collette Smith to create a foundation based on the power of belief in oneself.
My company, my organization, Believe in You Incorporated, is here to empower, inspire, bring hope to underserved, to the marginalized communities that are so underrepresented. A lot of times, our children don't get enough from our schooling systems, or just the world is different for us. I know because I'm one of those children. If you can see it, you can be it. Believe in You Incorporated is about, look what I've done. Yep, I am the first Black woman to coach in the history of the National Football League. I'm the first woman to coach in New York Jets franchise history. And I was a 42-year-old football player that started out the gate playing. So if I could do that, tell me what you can't do.
Through football camps for female athletes, academic and mental wellness clinics, and lectures, Believe in You is making miracles. In spite of the times, Collette didn't always believe in it.
I was struggling paying bills. And I was thinking, I know I'm doing good work. I know I am uplifting people and inspiring them, but I'm suffering. And I was thinking about giving it up. I had a meeting in Manhattan on Fifth Avenue, and I was in a business suit walking down Fifth Avenue, and I heard somebody say, "Hey, coach." I hear coach, I'm turning around, right? So I stopped, and there was a woman, a young woman, and she said, "Do you remember me? My name is, you spoke at so-and-so school." And I was like, I don't remember you were a fan. I meet so many people, I'm so sorry. And she said, "Well, I just want to let you know that when you came to the school," she said, "I was a teacher's aide. And you were talking to a bunch of teenage girls. And she said, you talked about how you got some difficult times in your life, and it really empowered me." She said that she left her abusive boyfriend, that she moved out, and that she went back to college, that she graduated, and that she teaches at that very school that I spoke at. So if that wasn't a sign that God said, keep going, I don't know what is.
Collette Smith is living proof that faith and belief can triumph over adversity, even when dealing with life's hardest truths.
There has been a lot that I've had to overcome and that I continuously still work through to this very day. I am a 5-time rape survivor. I am a survivor of domestic violence, which led me to become a 3-time suicide. It's interesting because there was a time when I was very angry, extremely angry about a lot of things, and I lost a lot of trust in people because of what happened to me. Then I discovered that God would never put me in a situation that he knows I couldn't handle. And I am a servant of God, but we have a deeper connection than that, he and I. I'm his servant warrior because he knows I'm gonna fight. And I'm not just gonna fight for me. I'm gonna fight for you because you deserve it. Our children deserve it. I think a lot of my battle scars are a sense of pride today for what I've turned them into. I'd like to say that broken crayons still color. And coloring outside the lines.
Collette Smith's life is all about playing outside the lines while keeping your integrity always in bounds. Her message for those young women striving for the same?
I always talk about being comfortable versus uncomfortable. Being comfortable, you're not growing. You're comfortable. I like to show off my pride, right? We don't need to hide our pride. I like to show mine off. So I have this on my arm, strong, smart, and bold. And I have it in the African continent colors to represent my Africa. So this is very important to me. And this one here is another favorite of mine, strength. This reminds me of God. I wouldn't be here without God. So my strength, and of course, I have the tattoo of my women's pro football team right here. I like being exactly who I am. I want to wear a dress and have tattoos, or not.
Collette V. Smith is helping women believe in themselves, believing in herself.
Try to surround yourself around things that make you happy. You know, music makes me happy, dancing. Just out the blue, I just may hear a song I like and I'm dancing. I'm gonna enjoy that moment. Enjoy your moments. Enjoy your moments, enjoy life. You only got one of them.
Collette Smith truly believes in the power of young Black female excellence, on and off the court. Thank you.